Nearly 100 video games, 29 years, 9 generations, and 1 franchise. Over those 29 years, Pokemon games got better and better and worse and better. The Pokemon games have improved a lot since its release in 1996. We got new Pokemon, different variants, a broad collection of art styles, new catch mechanics, and a lot of other unique features. Fact is, Pokemon is not the same game anymore as it was when we were kids. And that's something positive. Everything needs to change. This goes for us as humans, but also for games like Pokemon. And games usually achieve this with adding new mechanics. And in today's video I want to talk about the best new mechanics that get added in each generation. So enjoy. Starting with Gen 1, we encounter the problem that there can't be a new feature when the game didn't exist before. But I think I found a good answer anyway. You, me, and all of us. Generation 1 was the start of something big. The start of the biggest media franchise of all time. We traded Pokemon cards on the playground, got a Game Boy Color with Pokemon Red or Blue for Christmas, had Pokemon toys on our Happy Meals, and shared our bed with tons of Pokemon plushies. The start of Pokemon was definitely something big. And even when it's not exactly a new game mechanics that got added with Generation 1, we can at least say that it has instead shaped a whole generation of people with the release of these games. Pokemon Red and Blue were already perfect games back then. The only thing they needed to do is give us more Pokemon and a new map, and everything would have been perfect. And that's exactly what they did. But they didn't stop there. With the release of Gold and Silver, Pokemon set the foundation of everything we have today. Generation 2 added a lot of stuff that no one expected. The Dark and Steel type, equipable items, they split the special stat into special attack and special defense, and a few more things like more balls for example. But when you ask me what by far the best upgrade was, then I have a clear winner. Pokemon started as a really blunt and simple game, and the more time passed, the more bubbles arose, I would say. And today's Pokemon community I would split into 4 categories. The first category I would call the casuals. People that buy those games, are happy with it and play them, do maybe some post-game stuff, catch their favorite Pokemon. And then swap to a different game and most likely never touch those games again. Can also make a sun here, right? We want to catch the happy picture, the happy casuals. Because as casual, life is good in every game. Casuals have the best and most happy life. Next we have the competitive scene. The only category where you can achieve the title of World Champion. Where you can literally be the best trainer of all time. What can we draw here? Wolfie, VGC. What about Incineroar? How do you? Does Incineroar have hair? No, Incineroar is. Oh, this is not Incineroar. Oh, scheiße.
This is the worst!
A sweaty place where dreams come true through a lot of effort, mind-numbing pain, and loneliness. Next we have the challenge community. Challenge. Where also a big part, probably the biggest part, is Nuzlocke that everybody knows at this point. This category is for those people that love Pokemon, but the game is usually not hard enough, so they add their own rules to make it more difficult. Here we have stuff like mono Pokemon runs, like mono water type. We have solo Pokemon runs, like Slowpoke solo run, for example. E-Talk, this is not bad. Wait, it just doesn't stop. Nuzlocke, mono type runs, escape rooms, level 1, everything. There are infinite amounts of ways how you can make your game more difficult. What is also infinite is the time you can spend in category number 4. the shiny hunter community. Here are people that spend 1000 hours, sometimes more than that, just to catch one Pokemon with a slightly different color. To put them in the box, forget about it and never touch them again. And it sounds stupid. It is stupid for most probably. And boring, but it's also addicting and fantastic. Shiny hunting is something that reignited my spark after I lost interest in the Pokemon franchise. After like Gen 5, I think. And this is also why I put it as the best feature that got added in generation number 2. Shiny hunting is like gambling. What can we draw here? Yeah, Team, you know what this is, right? Zack, zack. The gambling of the small man. Shout out to Gen 2. Shit region, the level curve is horrible. Whirlpool is by far the most useless HM they've ever added. But the quality of life they got in this game is insane. And now please comment why I'm wrong and who's the algorithm.
Können wir bitte gehen? Können wir... Nee, hör mir zu! Können wir bitte gehen?
Wohin?
Weg!
Warum?
Auf diese Pisse hier keinen Bock haben.
Onwards to Gen 3, my current favorite generation. And this is partly because in this gen we got our first abilities on our Pokemon. I often tend to forget that abilities were not a part of Pokemon since day one, but wow, I'm glad that it's a thing nowadays. The turn-based fighting system we have and love is only this much fun because of abilities. Incineroar with Intimidate, Shedinja and Wonder Guard, Gengar with Levitate in at least past generations. Without abilities, Pokemon would be a way less entertaining game. And I will be forever grateful that this is a mechanic of Pokemon. I mean, at least in most games. Ne? Danke, Legends Arceus. Let's go Pikachu. But while we are at Legends Arceus and got reminded of one of the best fights in all of Pokemon, we can also talk about the best feature mechanic, Mom, that got added in Generation 4. Cynthia. One of the strongest, scariest and most beautiful characters in this franchise. And also perfect when you talk about character with aura. It doesn't surprise me that as a little kid I was absolutely confused fighting her. One part of me was completely falling for her, while the other part was literally pissing himself while fighting her.
What's wrong, Bowen? Why did you poke the frog? But it's just a frog! Make it get off!
There's one more MVP though in Generation 4, and its name is the Physical and Special Split. In today's Pokemon games we have physical and special moves. Everybody should know that. That's like the most important thing to be aware of when you think of a moveset. But before Gen 4 that was not really a thing. Okay, it was, but it was shitty and different. If a move was physical or special was dependent on the move's typing. For example, every ghost type was physical and every water move was special. Pokemon like Gengar were way weaker cause moves like Shadow Ball worked with its attack stat instead of special attack. Gyarados, for example, was also not as broken as it is now. Gyarados wants to use physical moves, but it mostly had its water moves that were working with its special attack instead of its strong attack stat. Generation 4 changed exactly this problem, and they split every type in physical and special moves. It's exactly because of this change that we can enjoy Pokemon as much, and team building got way more interesting and fun. Generation 5, huh? Your team, on this one I need to stretch the rules a little bit, because I can't find a good answer. The options I could think of were maybe the character N, because he's a fan favorite. Maybe also that the story is kind of good in this game, or that we can only use new Pokemon in the main story. but I wasn't really happy with that, so I would like to go with something else here. The graphic, or better said, the art style. This unique 2.5D style in Pokemon felt special and beautiful. But what felt even better were the Pokemon sprites. I need to disagree, but there are a lot of people that say that this is the best that Pokemon have ever looked like in any game. And I understand that. I really understand that. To see this little sprite thingies jump and wiggle around just wholesome and wonderful. And a blessing for every Pokemon content creator. I think that these Gen 5 sprites are by far the most used sprites in Pokemon content. So thank you Gen 5 for this unique and perfect art style. And if we should ever get Generation 5 remakes, just please stick with this. Change nothing. Give us Black and White 3, recycle it again. We are totally fine with that. Better than failing in new attempt to give us another faithful remake. With the swap to the 3DS era, we started into Generation 6. And just like in Generation 2, we get a ton of new features. The Fairy type, Mega Pokemon, increased shiny odds, but also the simultaneous worldwide release. Something that doesn't seem that big at first, but wow, it is. I still remember when I was in elementary school and I visited my best friend. It was in the Gen 3 times and Bassi and I heard rumors that in Japan a new Pokemon game exists already. So we googled and found a list with all the Sinnoh Pokemon. But anyway, this was one of my core memories. And maybe even one of my top 10 best days of my entire life. Even thinking and talking about it right now makes me want to go back and experience something like that one more time, but something like that will never happen again. This only worked because Japan had new Pokemon games like 1 year earlier than Europe. But Generation 6 ended this era with its simultaneous worldwide release. And even when I say I would like to go back, this change is something big, important and wonderful in its own way. To be able to watch YouTube videos, streams, check wikis and talk with friends all over the world at the same time when a new Pokemon game releases is amazing. And even when Basti and I will never again be as hyped as we were as little kids, I'm glad we could experience both times, pre and post Gen 6. Alola. Pokemon Sun and Moon did something new. Besides having one of the most fun shiny hunting methods, they also added regional variants. Pokemon like Marowak, Ninetales, Dugtrio, Sandslash, etc. got new forms with different designs, shinies, stats, abilities, moves and typings. They are basically new Pokemon, and since Gen 7 this is something that exists in every region. A beautiful way to make old Pokemon cool again and give new hope to people that have favorite Pokemon that could not shine for a longer time. Hisuian Arcanine, Paldean Wooper, Galarian Zapdos, Alolan Raichu. We have banger regional forms, and I really hope that this thing will never get removed from the games. Galarian Zapdos changed my view on fighting types, Galarian Zigzagoon did change my life forever, and Galarian Weezing changed the VGC meta a lot. And all of this is just amazing. We are slowly reaching the end here, Generation 8. The additions that is standing out the most here are probably the Pokemon in the overworld, or the open world. But I would like to talk about something more controversial. My favorite thing with this generation was the DLC. Instead of a third game like Emerald, Platinum or Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, we now get DLCs for additional content. And I totally understand when people dislike this, but in my opinion, it's a welcoming change. Instead of playing a similar game with more quality of life, maybe a few more Pokemon and more post-game content for a full price, we now get the same, but without the boring story and for a smaller price. Maybe I'm a little bit too optimistic here, but I had more fun with the Isle of Armor or Crown Tundra DLC than I would have had with Pokemon Gun, and I hope they keep this up. For example, Scarlet and Violet was also a nice DLC, if we don't talk about the performance issues that they are fixed, but whatever. But hey, perfect bridge to the next generation. Generation 9, Scarlet and Violet. Probably the biggest change we have on this list. Not the best or most important one, but the biggest. We are in an open world now, for real this time. I honestly don't know if I needed this. I really loved how Sword and Shield did it. like with the mix between routes and open world. Having Pokemon that run around but also hidden grass encounter was kinda cool. But I have no reason to complain. The open world feels nice and refreshing and I welcome it for now. Shiny hunting was never this easy, and when you have friends, playing with them together in Scarlet and Violet Online was also a lot of fun. I'm pretty sure Pokemon won't stick to this forever though, and they keep changing. Because that's what Pokemon always did. They always kept changing and trying out new stuff. That's the only reason why I can do this video. That's why we love Pokemon still after all this time. Even if not every change is good and sometimes is annoying, they will never stop this. Because that's what they always did. They always try out new stuff. If they stop changing, Pokemon will lose their spark. Pokemon would be a dead franchise soon if they wouldn't. When I think about Pokemon Legends ZA for example, and the cooldown real-time battle stuff thingies they will implement, to be honest, I was never that little hyped in my entire life for a Pokemon game. But it's still a good way, a new way, a fun way to experience the franchise I love since I was a little child. And that doesn't mean that it's bad, that just means that it's different. And that's a good thing. That can be a good thing. Okay team, we reached the end of the video. And I hope you enjoyed what you saw. And if there are any features I should have mentioned, let me know in the comments. First of all, because I'm actually curious. Second of all, it would push the algorithm. And third of all, it would make me genuinely happy. Another thing that I wanted to talk about, another thing that's bothering me, that's on my heart, is that I don't know where I want to go with my content. I know that I love creating stuff. I know that I love streaming on Twitch from the bottom of my heart. But I don't know where my place on YouTube is. Is it in the Pokemon niche, or is it maybe in the German manga community? Maybe somewhere entirely else? Woodcrafting? I don't know. I'm slowly trying to figure that one out, and if you want to join me on that adventure, leave a sub on YouTube. Would be super helpful. Or if you're more of the live stream person, leave a follow on Twitch. I'm live literally every day since over a year now, and do Pokemon stuff. For some reason people start calling me a variety streamer, but at heart I love Pokemon and do a lot of Pokemon stuff. That's all I have to say. Thank you for watching until here. Eat well, sleep well, rest well. Good night team. Have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.